Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Muhammad Rashid Saeed and I am a student of 8th semester with registration number MLT120192070. Today I will be presenting on the topic of blood. My presentation will cover the definition of blood, types of blood, components of blood, blood vessels, and the function of blood. So, what is blood? Blood is blood is a fluid connective tissue that consists of plasma, blood cells, and platelets. It circulates throughout our body, delivering oxygen and nutrients to various cells and tissues. It makes up 8% of our body weight. An average adult possesses around 5 to 6 liters of blood. Types of blood cells. We have seen blood consists of cells known as formed elements of blood. These cells have their own functions and roles to play in the body. The blood cells which circulate all around the body are as follows. Red blood cells, also called erythrocytes. RBCs are bioconcave cells without nucleus in humans, also known as erythrocytes. RBCs contain the iron-rich protein called hemoglobin, give blood its red color. RBCs are the most copious blood cells produced in bone marrows. Their main function is to transport oxygen from and to various tissues and organs. White blood cells, also called leukocytes. Leukocytes are colorless blood cells. They are colorless because it is devoid of hemoglobin. They are further classified as granulocytes and agranulocytes. WBCs mainly contribute to immunity and defense mechanisms. Types of white blood cells. There are 5 different types of white blood cells and are classified mainly based on the presence and absence of granules. Granulocytes, agranulocytes. Below is the diagram of white blood cells. So, what is granulocytes? They are leukocytes with the presence of granules in their cytoplasm. The granulated cells include eosinophil, basophil, and neutrophil. Eosinophils. They are the cells of leukocytes which are present in the immune system. These cells are responsible for combating infection in parasites of vertebrates and for controlling mechanisms associated with allergy and asthma. Eosinophil cells are small granulocytes which are produced in the bone marrow and makes 2 to 3% of whole WBCs. These cells are present in high concentration in the digestive tract. Basophils. They are the least common of the granulocytes, ranging from 0.5 to 1% of WBCs. They contain large cytoplasmic granules which play a vital role in mounting a non-specific immune response to pathogens and allergic reactions by releasing histamine and dilating the blood vessels. These white blood cells have the ability to be stained when exposed to basic dyes, hence referred to as basophils. These cells are best known for their role in asthma and their result in inflammation and bronchoconstriction in the airways. They secrete serotonin, histamine, and heparin. What is neutrophils? They are normally found in the bloodstream. They are predominant cells which are present in pus. Around 60 to 65% of WBCs are neutrophils with a diameter of 10 to 12 micrometers. The nucleus is 2 to 5 lobed and the cytoplasm has very fine granules. Neutrophils helps in the destruction of bacteria with lysosomes and it acts as a strong oxidant. Neutrophils are stained only using neutral dyes, hence they are called so. Neutrophils are also the first cells of the immune system to respond to an invader such as a bacteria or a virus. The lifespan of these WBCs extends for up to 8 hours and is produced every day in the bone marrow. Agranulocytes. They are leukocytes with the absence of granules in their cytoplasm. Agranulocytes are further classified into monocytes and lymphocytes. Monocytes. These cells usually have a large bilobed nucleus with a diameter of 12 to 20 micrometers. The nucleus is generally half-moon shaped or kidney shaped and it occupies 6 to 8% of WBCs. They are the garbage trucks of the immune system. The most important function of monocytes are to migrate into tissues and clean up dead cells, protect against bloodborne pathogens, and move very quickly to the sites of infection in the tissues. These white blood cells have a single bean-shaped nucleus, hence referred to as monocyte. What is lymphocytes? They play a vital role in producing antibodies. Their size ranges from 8 to 10 micrometers. They are commonly known as natural killer cells. They play an important role in body defense. These white blood cells are colorless cells formed in lymphoid tissues, hence referred to as lymphocytes. There are two main types of lymphocytes: B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. These cells are very important in the immune system and are responsible for humoral and cell mediated immunity. What is platelets? Also called thrombocytes. Thrombocytes are specialized blood cells produced from bone marrow. Platelets come into play when there is bleeding or hemorrhage. They help in clotting and coagulation of blood. Platelets help in coagulation during a cut or wound. Below is the diagram of composition of blood. Components of blood. There are many cellular structures in the composition of blood. When a sample of blood is spun in a centrifuge machine, they separate into the following constituents: plasma, buffy coat, and erythrocytes. Thus, blood contains RBCs, WBCs, platelets, and plasma. Plasma contains 55% of total blood. Buffy coat, leukocytes, and platelets less than 1% of total blood. Erythrocytes contain 45% of total blood. Plasma. The liquid state of blood can be contributed to plasma as it makes up 55% of blood. It is pale yellow in color and when separated, blood plasma consists of salt, nutrients, water, and enzymes. Blood plasma also contains important proteins and other components necessary for overall health. Hence, blood plasma transfusions are given to patients with liver failure and life-threatening injuries. Components of blood plasma. Blood plasma has several protein components. Proteins in blood plasma are serum globulin, serum albumin, fibrinogen. The serum contains only globulin and albumin. Fibrinogen is absent in serum because it is converted into fibrin during blood clot. Red blood cells (RBC). Red blood cells consist of hemoglobin, a protein. They are produced by the bone marrow to primarily carry oxygen to the body and carbon dioxide away from it. White blood cells. White blood cells are responsible for fighting foreign pathogens such as bacteria, viruses, and fungi that enter our body. They circulate throughout our body and originate from the bone marrow. Platelets. Thin disc-shaped cells that help regulate blood flow when any part of the body is damaged, thereby aiding in fast recovery through clotting of blood. The above stated elements from the composition of blood in human. The only vertebrate without hemoglobin is the crocodile is ice fish. It derives its oxygen requirements directly from the cold, oxygen-rich water where it lives. Blood vessels. There are different types of blood vessels in our body, each carrying out specialized functions. Blood vessels are categorized into arteries, veins, and capillaries. Types of blood vessels. Three types of blood vessels are arteries, veins, capillaries. Arteries. Arteries are strong tubes and muscular in nature. These blood vessels carry oxygen-rich blood from the heart to all the tissue of the body. Aorta is one of the main arteries that arise from the heart and branches further. Veins. Veins are elastic blood vessels which carry deoxygenated blood from all parts of the body to the heart. An exception is the umbilical and pulmonary veins. The pulmonary vein carries oxygenated blood to the heart from the lungs, and the umbilical vein carries oxygenated blood from the placenta to the fetus. Capillaries. On reaching tissues, arteries branch further into extremely thin tubes called capillaries. Capillaries bring about the exchange of substances between blood and tissues. Sinusoids. Sinusoids are a special type of wider capillaries present in bone marrow, liver, lymph nodes, spleen, and some endocrine glands. They may be continuous, discontinuous, or fenestrated. Layers of blood vessels. Both arteries and veins consist of three layers. Tunica intima. It is one of the innermost and thinnest layer of arteries and veins. It comprises endothelial cells. They are in direct contact with the flow of blood. Tunica media. It is the middle layer of an artery or vein. Tunica media is made up of smooth muscle cells. Tunica externa. It surrounds tunica media. It is made up of collagen and is also supported by the elastic lamina in arteries. Function of blood. Blood is responsible for the following body functions. Fluid connective tissue. Blood is a fluid connective tissue composed of 55% plasmas and 45% formed elements including WBCs, RBCs, and platelets. Since these living cells are suspended in plasma, blood is known as a fluid connective tissue, not just fluid, provides oxygen to the cells. Blood absorbs oxygen from the lungs and transports it to different cells of the body. The waste carbon dioxide moves from the blood to the lungs and is exhaled. Transports hormones and nutrients. The digested nutrients such as glucose, vitamins, minerals, and proteins are absorbed into the blood through the capillaries and the villi lining the small intestine. The hormones secreted by the endocrine glands are also transported by the blood to different organs and tissues. Hemostasis. Blood helps to maintain the internal body temperature by absorbing or releasing heat. Blood clotting at site of injury. The platelets help in the clotting of blood at the site of injury. Platelets along with the fibrin from clot at the wound site. Transport of waste to the kidney and liver. Blood enters blood enters the kidney where it is filtered to remove nitrogenous waste out of the blood plasma. The toxins from the blood are also removed by liver. Protection of the body against pathogens. The white blood cells fight against the white blood cells fight against infections. They multiply rapidly during infection. The end.